Okay, something weird's going on here, and I can't figure it out. I don't know what's happening. Am I about to hear myself talking? I sure hope not. Anyway, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the show. That's really weird. I'm getting a major feedback as though... I don't know where that's coming from. Do I have this window open somewhere else? I sure do. Oh, it must be playing. There it is. Okay. I figured it out. I don't even know how that happened. It was playing on my Twitter machine. So anyway, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Marty, and every once in a while I have some boomer tech going. So it is what it is. It's Thursday. You know what that means. We're going to have a few FTGs to hand out. And hopefully I'll be able to hear things on my phone if anyone shows up at the spaces. I don't know if I'm going to talk to anybody or not, but at least the show is here. And is it on? Yes, it is. It is on. So it's going both places. If anyone listens at the Twitter spot, that's fine. And if anyone wants to just watch it on YouTube like you normally do, that's great. Or if you want to watch it at PDawgKnight.live, that's where you can sponsor the show and watch the show and participate in the chat, all at the same one-stop shopping. But yeah, we do have some FTGs, and of course, as you saw in the thumbnail, Pencil Neck is going to be one of the top FTGs of the day, but he could be one of the top FTGs any time of the year. If you don't know what FTG means, I can't really say it in the first few minutes of the stream because for whatever reason, they don't like that on YouTube. So go ahead and tell your friends and neighbors in the chat what FTG stands for. In the meantime, I am going to step away for 1 minute because we got an intro. So I'm going to enjoy my cup of reparations as we play the intro.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, PDawgKnight.
All right, stop the music. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as PDawgKnight on the internet. And welcome to the PDawgKnight channel, or welcome back for most of you. It is Thursday, the 16th of December. 8 more shopping days until Santa comes down the chimney and leaves soot all over your carpet. And it's also the day where I get to somebody already did. Thank you, Tyler F., one of my great mods, for taking care of certain bot-like entities in the chat. It's FTG Thursday is a day where we just kind of do a lot of quick hits, and you can read the articles if you want. Those will be in the description down below at the end of the show. And we're not going to get too in-depth today because I got a whole bunch of them. And, not all of them are FTGs, but most of them are. But before we do that, let's say good morning to the people who've made it to the chat early today, and I'll just scroll up here. First day in the chat is our friend from down under, Mr. Richo, who gets the bell. Now, I noticed when I did this yesterday, those noises were a little bit harder to hear, but they still work. So they're not going to be as loud, but you'll be able to tell. And Richo gets the bell. Thank you for being a loyal listener of the Morning Night Live. Also, good morning to Mike Savage, Blarg. Good morning, Aaron Meredith. Good morning, Selecta Boy. Yeah, boy. Also, good morning to, who else is here? Colleen Bernier, our official Florida correspondent. Somnum Bold Nations is the house. Thank you for tweeting out the show. Good morning also to, Thump Funk Thursday. Well, that's the 2000 pop, whatever that was. I don't know what that was. That's what the genre is called. Also, good morning, Jeffrey Russell. Good morning, Ursula, and goodbye, Ursula. Good morning, Zach to the future. let's see, who else is here? Tyler F. Keenan, good morning. Nice to see you. Advocatus Diablo, the Devil's Advocate, is here. Welcome again. Good morning at Tack Alpaca. Jonathan Peterson. Let's see. I got Attack Alpaca. And that's kind of it. If I missed you, I'm sorry. But we will I'll catch people here and there as we go through the show. So let's get right into it. Now there's a bunch of kind of newsy stuff. I don't know how that happened. Why is my show showing there on Twitter? That's weird. So I'm gonna go into I had some things I bookmarked. Let's see what's on my notification here. Thank you, Tyler F, by the way, Insomnible Nation, for tweeting out the show or retweeting my tweet of the tweet of the tweet. So a couple things that were in my bookmarks over the weekend. So we were talking about this this January 6th thing, and I'll get into it more, but there's a thread here by someone named Taylor Hanson that's interesting. We were talking about how maybe, just maybe, that Julie Kelly from American Greatness has been documenting a lot of things that happened on January 6th, right? But there was this one instance of someone whose life was kind of taken from them, or it was taken. It was one of those that was billed as someone having a heart attack. Well, there's an interesting thread here on Twitter. Now, I'll just pull this up here. There's someone named Kevin Greason. Apparently, these are the moments after he was hit by a smoke grenade. And there's witnesses to this. And people in the crowd were seen performing compressions after setting him down from the fence they laid him on. Officers would not let protesters carry Mr. Greason out to get help. Someone named Laura Witzke was an eyewitness to Greason's death. Quote, after being flash bombed and tear gassed for the third time, I looked down beside me to see that a middle-aged man, Kevin Greason, on the ground and blue in the face. Here's her full statement here. So almost immediately, the Capitol Police on the ground started throwing flash grenades into the crowds, tear gassing us all. I moved about 40 feet away from the steps and just stood there, yet the tear gas and flash grenades continued. After being flash bombed and tear gassed for the third time, I looked down beside me to see that a middle-aged man, Kevin Greason, on the ground, blue in the face. My friend Kimberly immediately began CPR and continued until her lips were bleeding, but she couldn't get him breathing again. Men were yelling, help, we need an EMT, get this man an ambulance, etc. We begged the Capitol Police officers for help, but they ignored us and continued macing old men who got anywhere near them. Trump supporters were able to make a makeshift gurney out of fencing and carry him out of there. The Capitol Police continued to flash bomb and tear gas us, macing in the face anyone who would come near them. Okay, so that's so interesting. And then Chris Alberts is another witness. The crowd was being completely responsive to what the officer was saying, and yet nothing happened. About 30 to 40 minutes go by before they dragged him out of there, and they have an interview on Rumble. And then in this video, you can briefly see Greason on the ground before he was picked up by Trump supporters using fence as a makeshift gurney. Using fences to cart off injured and dead protesters seemed to be a common occurrence on the 6th. And then apparently they have a full video of the first clip in the thread. Officers can be seen standing around and doing impressions of the protesters calling an ambulance. This is when Chris Albert's CPR face shield was denied. So apparently some guy offered had EMT equipment with him, and he had one of those, kind of manual pump face shields where you could, breathe, because they weren't doing breathing on people, I guess. And they wouldn't let him use it. Greason was needed medical care for over 35 minutes. The D.C. medical examiner is a terrible liar. Roseanne Boylan didn't die of an overdose, and Kevin Greason sure as hell didn't die from natural causes. So the only people killed on January 6th were protesters. And so they have her statement from this venue of Laura Witzke. Interesting. Now, of course, the first comment under this thread, LOL, yeah, don't try to invade a Capitol building. They won't shoot you with anything if you are able to show restraint. what they're saying is that the Capitol Police started some of this. So that's interesting. I just found that interesting. So FTG, if that's true, FTG to the Capitol Police, and that, at least in that particular instance, I know some were there doing their jobs for whatever, but some of them maybe were doing a little extracurricular. I don't know. That's what seems these eyewitness accounts seem to say. Also, something I bookmarked that I found fascinating, and this was ABC News with I just have to laugh at the title of this particular article from ABC News, and I'm sure you'll find it humorous too. Well, here's the tweet. Okay, here's the tweet. Hang on, let me make sure it fits on the page. Here we go. As the Delta variant of Stupid 19 spread across the U.S. this summer, the virus appeared to take a particular toll on unvaccinated pregnant people, with deaths dramatically increasing in the summer months. Now, the term pregnant people is fascinating. FTG, ABC News. But then also when I read this article, because I'm like, okay, they say the took a dramatically increase in the summer months. Okay. And then the ABC's new article you click to is COVID deaths for pregnant people spiked during Delta. And then there's data. Hello, Fox B2. So let's open this article real quick and just, first of all, pregnant people, come on now. Come on. So here's the article. COVID deaths for pregnant people, women, spiked during Delta. Oh, it's funny too because well, I don't like to talk abortion politics, but during this abortion debate, you notice they never say anything about pregnant people during the abortion debate. It's always, you're doing something for women's bodies, right? And because too many men deciding what women do with their bodies. Well, I thought men could have babies too. So anyway, So again, this article, this is one of these fear-mongering articles that I just hate during this. COVID deaths for pregnant people spiked during Delta. Now, when they say it spiked during Delta, excuse me, I'm going to be coughing all day. I have a little bit of a coof that's not that coof though. When they say spiked for pregnant people over the summer, give me a number that you would envision when they're talking about this being this really super dangerous thing for pregnant people. Spiked over the summer. Now, first of all, I don't want any deaths whatsoever. I want 0 deaths. Not realistic, but 0 deaths would be great. When they say spiked, what would you think they would mean? Like thousands of pregnant people died over the summer, spiked, right? Now let's read the article and find out what that means. As the Delta variant of COVID-19 spread across the United States this summer, virus appeared to take a particular toll on unvaccinated pregnant people, with deaths dramatically increasing in the summer months. The number of pregnant people who died of stupid 19 spiked sharply in August and September, with more than 24 deaths recorded in each of those months. Okay, that's a lot of pregnant people died in those months, according to data released this week by the U.S. Centers for Disease Controls, right? More than 40% of the 248 deaths among pregnant people since the start of the pandemic occurred in August, or occurred since August. The data shows the number of pregnant people who contracted Stupid-19 also increased sharply over the summer months, according to the CDC. Now, I thought this was during a period when all these people were getting vaccinated, but it spiked even more during this time. That doesn't make any sense. But I want you to listen to the number that I just said. So since the beginning of the pandemic, there have been 248 deaths among pregnant people. Now, I won't even ask you how many pregnant people there have been in the United States during that time, but I want you to try and guess how many pregnant people since the start of the pandemic, how many pregnant people contracted Stupid-19 when you think about those 248 deaths. Well, and because they really want you to worry about the Omicron variant, right? Now, as the Omicron variant spreads across the U.S. with what is believed to be a high degree of transmissibility, but less symptoms, more mild symptoms. No, in fact, I don't think we have a recorded death from Omicron yet. But how many people have had the Stupid-19 since the beginning of the pandemic, and then 240 have died? That number is now they first they tell you more than 25,000 pregnant people have been hospitalized since the start of the pandemic. Okay, I bet it's more than that, because they get hospitalized when they go to have their babies. And more than 150,000 cases of Stupid-19 have been confirmed in pregnant people, according to the CDC. Anyone want to do the math? Never mind. I'll just tell you the math. 150,000 cases, 248 divided by 150,000 is 0.16%. Is the number of people who died who also had COVID that were pregnant people. Out of 150,000, 0.16%. Now, we don't know, because the way they track this, we don't know if they died from COVID. I'm curious what, the percentage of people who die from birth. It's probably lower than that, but I'm just curious, what, 0.16%. Now, one is too many, but I gotta imagine, because the article is about how COVID death for pregnant people has spiked. It's amazing. It's amazing. Oh, Corn Pop, how you doing? Nice to see you. Corn Pop, you're both here and there. That's good. Okay. It's but man, I just thought it was hilarious that they said COVID death for pregnant people. FTG ABC put that in the chat. FTG ABC. I found that just fascinating. All right. Also, I bookmarked a couple other things. Then we'll get into the tabs today. Also, in my bookmarks, let's see, what else did I think was important? So apparently the Associated Press has reviewed potential voter fraud cases in the 6 political battleground states where former President Donald Trump. Here, let's just open the article. It'll be easier this way. Which I didn't think there was any voter fraud. There was none, and well, there wasn't none. There was some, but not enough to do the election. Oh wait, there's some, but it wasn't enough. I don't know. They keep changing the story. Details from the Associated Press review of potential voter fraud cases in the 6 political battleground states where former President Donald Trump and his allies disputed his loss to Joe Biden. Arizona, 2020 results. Biden won by 10,457 votes. How it was reported, an AP reporter submitted public records request to Arizona's 15 counties, along with requesting information from the state's Attorney General's office, which has been reviewing potential cases as a part of an election integrity unit created in 2019 to identify potential cases of fraud. What the AP found, in all, 198 instances of potential fraud were identified in 6 counties, representing 1.9% of Biden's margin of victory. The vast majority of the potential instances of fraud were identified in Pima County, which includes Tucson. 9 counties reported no suspicious activity. 9 people have been charged so far, including 6 cases pursued by the state attorney general's office, which has an election integrity unit that is reviewing an undisclosed number of additional cases. Highlights, many of the cases involved allegations of people casting multiple ballots, felons voting despite being ineligible, ballots received in the name of voters who are dead. Of the 176 instances of potential fraud in Pima County, 151 were referred to prosecutors. The county has a practice of referring every effort to cast a second ballot to prosecutors for review, something other offices don't do. Election officials said 25 instances involved voters over the age of 70 and were not referred since there was a greater chance those were a result of memory lapses or confusion and not criminal intent. None of the Pima County cases involved a voter successfully voting twice. 4 of the charge. Okay, so anyway, they're going to just completely disregard that audit. Where there were thousands of ballots that they just didn't know have any significant, like didn't have any, what was it they said? I can't remember. There were no proper identifying information. But anyway. So anyway, they go through several states, and of course they say they find nothing because they didn't really audit anything. They just gave the information that the county or state gave them. But it's interesting because remember, there was no voter fraud. At least the AP is now saying there was some voter fraud, but certainly not enough to change the election or whatever, which they wouldn't do at this point anyway. But if you want to see the rest of that, it'll be in the tab below the description. Or excuse me, yeah, in the description down below. And then what was the other one? I had one more, and then we'll move on, that I wanted to do. Oh, now. Actually, I have 2, but this is the one I wanted to really show you because there's several articles involved that are fascinating. Elizabeth Warren, who we spoke about yesterday, FTG. Oh, well, we don't have to well, yeah, we can FTG the AP. There, FTG to the AP. Senator Elizabeth Warren is also my bookmark. She now says she says that she now supports adding at least 4 seats to the Supreme Court and will co-sponsor the Judiciary Act, a bill that would do just that. Amazing. It's just how she came up with 4. That seems to sound like the perfect number now. I'm just gonna get this out of the way. FTG faux Kahanas. And she says, I don't come to this conclusion lightly. Well, of course you don't. You had to figure out how many justices that Democrats would have to add so that you could have the majority political makeup of the court that you want. I know. How about if you nominate Hillary Clinton, Eric Holder, Jussie Smollett, and Kim Fox? There you go. That'd be a perfect four to add to the Supreme Court. They would certainly make the court more have it have more integrity and everything. It would be perfect now, wouldn't it, Elizabeth Warren? It's almost as though these people are so spoiled. I mean, it's like they've had the balance of the court and the balance of Congress and the balance of everything was just all Democrat for over 40 years. Until, I believe it was 1990, was it 92? Or was it 90? Oh, the midterm election is 94, right? And the Republicans, for the first time in 40 years, took the House of Representatives. Hadn't had it for 40 years. And, oh my God, the temper tantrum Democrats were having back then and are still having now. And so now, they were, the court doesn't have the balance that Democrats like anymore. And so what would be the perfect number to add? Well, if it's 6-3, if you add 4 more justices that we like, then it would be 7-6. It's amazing. It's amazing. So anyway, there's a couple articles attached to that. Progressive Judicial Group launches a $1.5 million effort to expand the Supreme Court. In fact, here's the thread. Big win for We Demand Justice, which has been slowly building more co-sponsors for the bill. I don't come to this conclusion lightly. I come to this conclusion because I believe the current court threatens the democratic foundations of our nation. How? It is, oh my God, it is just as the founders, well, not just as the founders set it up, but it's been this way at least for a century. Okay? And it doesn't threaten anything. It just means that you have justices who decide things based on the Constitution, just like we always have had, but they may not do everything to your liking. So you might just have to deal with it, just like Republicans have done for over 40 years. And as far as the courts, even longer than that. It's been a long time since there's been a conservative court. So, pound sand. Warren now joins 2 other Democrats on the bill to expand the Supreme Court. Senators Markey and Tina Smith from the great state of Minnesota. I hope we vote her out the next time we get a chance. The reality is the Judiciary Act isn't going anywhere anytime soon. So this lady likes this. It's popular among progressives. Well, it's very unpopular amongst the other 85 or 86% of the country. You moron. Not to mention, but it needs a lot more Democratic support to get it moving in Congress. Oh, really? Not to mention 60 senators are needed to advance any legislation. And there are only 50 Democrats. Good. And hopefully within about a year, there'll be less than that. Thank you, Paul Farrell, for sponsoring the show, who says some cash towards more coffee. Thank you very much for the I'm going to call them the enhanced chat via Streamlabs, sponsor chats via Streamlabs, who says, again, some more cash towards coffee. Thank you very much. I greatly, greatly appreciate that. Oh, what the hell did I do there? I greatly appreciate that. And you are a great American. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Good morning, Cracks, too. How you doing? And Maddie's in the house. I see you there. And there's some other people show up. Black Keepers Your Light, Corn Pop. Thanks, everybody. All right. Anyway, and then Brian Fallon, who I think Brian Fallon, he used to write for someone. Who did he used to write for? Is that the guy? No, I don't know. Anyway, there's a couple articles about it. And FTG, no. We do not need to expand the court. Stop it now. All right. And let's see. The last one I had in the bookmarks. Oh, so I suppose most of you heard that Cenk Uger's nephew, Hassan Piker, got kicked off of Twitch, right? And that's really unfortunate because he was making over $100,000 a month on Twitch just in subscriptions. Yes, you heard that right. Hassan Piker, moron, communist Chad, was making over $100,000 a month just in subscriptions on Twitch. He had like 200,000 some subscribers or something like that, or I don't know. It's some crazy amount, or no, 40, 50,000. It's $5 a piece. He gets half. It's a lot. He was making over $100,000 a month. Just got banned from Twitch for, I think he was using some sort of derogatory language towards white people. Anyway, he's on the Majority Report with, what's this dumbass's name? The dude that tried to jump in when Crowder was going to debate Ethan Klein. Sam Cedar, this boring moron. Well, actually, Sam's not a moron. He's a smart guy. He's just has stupid ideas. Anyway, here's I believe it's Hassan and Sam Cedar whining about how liberals can't make money on the internet.
But for the most part, very difficult to build an audience on the left, whether it's whether it's.
Now wait a minute. Now Sam Cedar has over 1 million followers. Ethan Klein, how many does that moron have? 3 million, 4 million followers, 5 million? I don't know. Hassan Piker, again, making over $100,000 a month on Twitch until he got kicked off.
You're talking about liberals, or you're talking about progressives or socialists. It's tough. It happens, but it's tough.
And it's tough for everybody to do that. It's tough for everybody. Not everybody makes it. I've been on here for 2.5, 3 years doing this show. I have a very small following. It's tough for conservatives to have a following online. Shut up, Sam. Shut up.
On the right, there's just a lot more money, and there's a lot more, frankly,
Is there really Katzenberg? Is it Katzenberg that gave Cenk $20 million? And YouTube gave him $20 million. They've given him $40 million over the last 10 years. And he's got a big-ass audience, right? It's tough. How?
Funding that comes from places like the Koch brothers. Maybe it gets laundered a couple of times through different organizations.
Oh, is that what it is? You mean people who subscribe don't give money to these people? What the hell happened there?
Very difficult to build an audience on the left, whether it's like the Koch brothers. Maybe it gets. It gets laundered a couple of times through different organizations, but there's a lot of money out there. There's a lot of lost leader attitude on the right that doesn't exist on the left, obviously, because
because they're putting all their money into the news networks, right? Because they're sponsored by Pfizer. Give me a break. And Hassan, I'm weeping.
Yeah. I don't know why someone who has been a beneficiary of wealth hoarding or the centralization of wealth would turn around and pay for someone to tell them like that's wrong, that entire system that allowed them to make billions of dollars and accumulate that kind of wealth, that system needs to be dismantled. They're not going to do that.
Yes, that's what you do every day, right, Hassan? Is that what you do? Oh, good God.
People who benefit from that are not going to turn around and pay for people to advocate against them.
Really? Have you ever, Hassan, have you ever met Cenk Uygur? Oh, wait, he's your uncle. And he's had a couple different people give him big old sums of money to keep his stupid network that's going, even though it sucks and it's dying. So we can just do FTG, Sam Cedar, and FTG, Hassan. I'll just put Hassan, you piker. God, cry me a freaking river. Even Glenn Greenwald says here, multimillionaires who got rich marketing left-wing pablum on Google and Bezos' platform whine that it's so hard to get rich because left politics is just too radical for billionaire support. Not only are they proof of how easy it is, but have they ever heard of Soros and Omidyar? I've never heard of Omidyar, but I've heard of the Katzenberg Group. Rich left liberal media commodities like them claim billionaires dislike them to make themselves and their customers feel radical and to imply only corrupt motives could explain why people flee their faction. The reality is it's extremely easy to get rich on the left, especially if you're a Chad like Hassan Piker. Those two alone prove how easy it is to get rich, hawking left liberal cliches with pseudo-radicals. You don't need to do anything or have any talent. Left liberal cash pours in. But more to the point, billionaire cash is flooding left liberal NGOs, media outlets, and activist groups. It's hilarious. It's hilarious that they pretend they don't get money from anybody or they don't get views. Thank you, Maddie, for sponsoring the show. Oh, Paul, I never did do this.
You are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day.
And then also thank you, Maddie, with a handful who says, what the hell is he talking about? It's been exponentially harder for conservative news and commentators to make money. Every time one is popular, with exceptions, they get blasted. FTG, Sam, and the Village Idiot. Yeah, the social media companies, and well, look, Crowder just got another strike. Did you hear about that? We don't know why, but the show was something, the title about Elon Musk, and he just got another strike for hate speech. They never, well, apparently Twitch now is given a strike, because I think it's because Hassan was jokingly using the word cracker on his show, so maybe that's what it was. Apparently he can't use that word on Twitch anymore. I personally, I don't give a flying whatever. I was going to say a flying fig, a flying fart, a flying fuck. I don't give any of those. That he's used words that might offend some people. Who cares? I don't think he should have been banned from Twitch. I don't think people should be banned from YouTube for saying bad words or saying things that might offend some, delicate flower. Because guess what? If you don't like my content and it offends you, don't fucking watch me. That's what I say. And I don't care who I offend. But YouTube's here to save you from violence. There's no such thing as violence through the airwaves. If you don't like my channel, go away. If you like my channel, watch it. And in fact, if you don't like what I say, but you like my channel, thank you for coming. I appreciate you being here. I welcome you to come and argue with me or some shit like that. But this whiny bitch, Hassan Piker and Sam Cedar, who've built huge followings, being on the left. Oh my gosh. Anyway, good morning, Random American. How you doing? And thank you again, Maddie. I appreciate you. This whole thing is, I need a second phone. All right. Let's get into some tabs. Let's see here. The man in the thumbnail today. Yesterday we were talking about how the January 6th committee may have some challenges, at least, or like, because remember that the Attorney General of the District of Columbia was suing the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers and said they might have some trouble because, first of all, those two groups really weren't involved in the breach part of the Capitol thing, at least as far as I know. And also, the fighting with police, some of that fighting was initiated by the police, at least according to some reports. Maybe not all of it, but some. Okay. Well, Adam Schiff. Oh, and there were the emails. Remember the emails from Mark Meadows? That was a big thing, and they're holding Mark Meadows in contempt. Well, here's an interesting development. Apparently, during a January 6th hearing, remember? Okay, let me back up here. Remember during, I think was it during one of the impeachment hearings or whatever, Adam Schiff came out and said some stuff that Donald Trump said that said that Donald Trump actually never said, right? He made up some shit and made it sound like Donald Trump said one thing when Donald Trump actually said the other. Well, guess what now? He did it again. He did an interpretation of something for this January 6th committee. During a January 6th hearing, Schiff doctored text messages between Mark Meadows and Representative Jim Jordan. Oops, he did it again. He faked some conversations between men. Oh, baby. Ooh, he did. Anyway, that was awful. That was probably my worst rendition of any song ever. Well, oops, he did it again. After leaking fake Donald Trump Jr. emails, fabricating the transcript. Oh, that was the phone call, the Ukraine call, of the 2019 phone call between former President Donald Trump and Ukraine's president, and lying about his interactions with the so-called whistleblower behind House Democrats' first impeachment of Trump, Representative Adam Pencilneck Schiff, Democrat from California, is now running the same con against a fellow lawmaker. During a hearing Monday night on the riot at the U.S. Capitol on January 26, 2021, Adam Schiff claimed to have proof that a member of Congress texted former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows to instruct former Vice President Mike Pence to overturn the 2020 presidential election results. Not only did Schiff misrepresent the substance of the text message and its source, he even doctored original text messages which were obtained by and reviewed by the Federalist in their entirety. Here it is. We'll just do it here.
I want to display just a few of the messages he received from people in Congress. The committee is not naming these lawmakers at this time, as our investigation is ongoing.
Yes, let's see.
If we could cue the first graphic. This one reads, on January 6, 2021, Vice President Mike Pence, as President of the Senate, should call out all electoral votes that he believes are unconstitutional as no electoral votes at all.
Again, you just read that real quick. You saw that.
You can see why this is so critical to ask Mr. Meadows about a lawmaker suggesting that the former vice president simply throw out votes that he unilaterally deems unconstitutional in order to overturn a presidential election and subvert the will.
So he showed that graphic, right? The following graphic is purportedly the text message between a member of Congress and Meadows, then appeared on screen as Schiff's direction. And then he read that, right? Now, not only did Schiff lie about the substance of the text message and its source, he even doctored the message and graphic that he displayed on screen during his statement. The full text message, which was forwarded to Meadows from Representative Jim Jordan of Ohio on the evening of Monday, January 5th, was significantly longer than what Schiff read and put on screen, but Schiff erased significant portions of the text and added punctuation where there was none to give the impression that Jordan himself was tersely directing Meadows to give orders to Pence on how to handle the electoral vote certification. The original text was written by Washington attorney and former Department of Defense Inspector General Joseph Schmitz and included an attachment of a 4-page draft Word document drafted by Schmitz that detailed Schmitz's legal reasoning for suggesting that Pence had the constitutional authority to object to the certification of electoral votes submitted by a handful of states. That piece that Schmidt had sent to Jordan was published at the website everylegal.vote the next day, and even included the same discussion draft heading and timestamp on the document that Schmidt sent to Jordan. Good luck tomorrow, Schmidt texted Jordan on the evening of January 5th, including the Word document as an attachment. Schmitz then texted Jordan a 3-paragraph summary of his Word document, which Schiff sliced and diced and then attributed to Jordan. So it wasn't even Jordan's email. Quote, on January 6, 2021, Vice President Mike Pence, as President of the Senate, should call out the electoral votes that he believes are unconstitutional and as no electoral votes at all in accordance with guidance from Founding Father Alexander Hamilton and judicial precedents, Schmitz texted. In his graphic, Schiff erased the final clause and the M- preceding it and added a period to the first clause without disclosing that he or his staff had chopped up the text and created a fake graphic misrepresenting the actual contents of the text message. Unbelievable. Schmitz continued, no legislative act, wrote Alexander Hamilton in Federalist number 78, contrary to the Constitution, can be valid. The court in Hubbard versus Lowe reinforced this truth that an unconstitutional statute is not a law at all, proposition no longer open to discussion, appeal dismissed. Following this rationale, an unconstitutionally appointed elector, like an unconstitutionally enacted statute, is no elector at all, Schmitz wrote. In a statement and on-screen graphic, Schiff erased the final 2 paragraphs and the final clause of the first paragraph of the text messages before inserting punctuation that was never there, all without disclosing what he was doing. The graphic displayed by Schiff, which was doctored to look like an exact screenshot, was similarly doctored as it contained content that was never in the original message and eliminated content that was. Is anyone surprised that Adam Schiff is again rifling through private text messages and cherry-picking information to fit his part? Anyway, FTG Adam Schiff. I don't even read. The rest of this you could read, but he's such a bullshit harvest. FTG Adam Ish. Or you could just say, oops, I had to double FTG. FTG pencil neck. There we go. Rockhopper, what's happening? Nice to have you at the show. Welcome. And Cracked also. All right, let's keep going here. How much time? I got a lot of time today. I'm not in a hurry today. I'm not going to my other job because I have an injury, which I haven't really talked about. But anyway, moving on. Now, apparently, everyone's favorite Speaker of the House of all times ever, in fact, perhaps the greatest Speaker of a House of all time, according to President Sundowner, apparently she's collected the phone records of the conservative movement. And it says exclusive, Meadows and Alexander are 2 witnesses who cooperated, even though they're still going to try to do a contempt charge against Mark Meadows. So yesterday, former Representative Mark Meadows was held in contempt by the same House that he once served in before his appointment as former President Donald J. Trump's last chief of staff. Meadows had been complying with Nancy Pelosi's appointed select committee tasked with looking into January 6th until it went too far. Meadows is now suing Pelosi and the select committee. In retaliation, the committee read out text and doctored text on Monday between Meadows and Fox News hosts and the president's son. It was lost on Democrats and the media that the text messages actually prove there was no attempted coup from within the Trump administration or his family. Meadows' lawsuit is serious, but will DC's political judges allow it to be heard on its merit or the politics of post-January 6th? The 43-page complaint not only declares his 2 subpoenas overly broad and unduly burdensome, but also says that the committee is illegally and unconstitutionally assembled, breaking House rules and tradition. Joel Pollack, a lawyer and editor for Breitbart, agrees. Nearly 1/3 of the complaint is dedicated to a subpoena Verizon received that Meadows seeks to quash. It's going overlooked by nearly all of the media, and that includes conservative media. This part of the complaint has the most profound civil liberties implications, not just for those being deposed by the Select Committee, but for all Americans. Even if Meadows cannot quash his own 2 subpoenas, if he quashes or limits the scope of the Verizon subpoena, it'll be a civil liberties win for all Americans. It's been reported by CNN, which seems to be a dumping ground for committee members and their staff violating the secrecy laws they're bound by, that more than 100 others have had their cell phones seized by this committee. Other telecom besides Verizon have had records requests from them, but Verizon seems to be the only company notifying named subscribers. Are the other cell phone providers just turning over this information without notifying their customers? As of this writing, we learned that the Select Committee has also subpoenaed Republican members of Congress, including one member who was booted off the Select Committee by Nancy Pelosi herself, Jim Jordan. The members are Lauren Boebert, Andy Briggs, Bo Brooks, Madison Cawthorn, Matt Gaetz, Louis Gohmert, and Paul Gosar, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Jody Heiss, Jim Jordan, and Scott Perry. This is unprecedented. Now, that is quite the group there. It's funny because Gohmert is a judge, or was a judge. But yeah, what do they call that? The Freedom Caucus? Is that what most of those people are in? Interesting. Anyway, now where's the ACLU? That's a silly question. Anyway, the American Spectator's request for comment has not been answered. We will publish their statements should we receive one. How would members of this Select Committee act if a Republican-appointed only committee investigated Black Lives Matter activists and seized their private phone records for months surrounding the summer riots that took place last year? How many Democratic congressmen and women and journalists would be affected by that sort of search? We know, for example, that CNN and NBC both paid Antifa-activated activists to document the January 6th protest and ended up filming and laughing at Ashley Babbitt's killing as it happened. Yeah, those were Antifa doing that filming. What connection do the legacy media have to BLM and Antifa terrorists? Do Democrats want to set the precedent that a committee such as this is uninhibited from finding out by investigating fellow members? Because, turnabout's fair play, right? I don't want to make this a big habit, but geez. Anyway, so a lot of this is Nancy Pelosi doing. It's a pretty long article. I'm going to let you guys, if you want to read the rest, you can do that because I want to get through a few more of these today. In the New York Post today, more January 6th stuff. And this is a editorial by Miranda Devine. Liz Cheney at the forefront of a hollow January 6th war. Just talking about how her and Kinzinger... Oh, well, you can read that on your own. The interesting thing about this is there's a problem with the committee, and it may not even be legal. I'm going to skip the one on Liz Cheney, but this is important about January 6th because here's the elephant in the room. Of course, Nancy Pelosi, and you can just go ahead and give her an FTG. So. Let's see here. Skip this. He left the Oval Office a year ago, but House Democrats remain obsessed with Donald Trump. That's why they are threatening former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows with jail for defying an illegal subpoena. And this will explain it. The subpoena was issued earlier this year by the Select Committee to investigate the January 6th attack on the United States Capitol. The special creation of Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi to use an official investigation to smear congressional Republicans as domestic terrorists and accessories to an insurrection against American democracy. Meadows, who is also a former member of the House of Representatives, initially cooperated with the select panel, turning over more than 69 100 documents. He requested documents, including those now infamous emails he received during the riot from Fox News stars Sean Hannity, Brian Kilmeade, and Laura Ingraham. But then the panel demanded Meadows show up for a deposition in which he would have to answer under oath and all questions put to him. Doing that would have inevitably required him to violate presidential executive privilege because he was certain to be asked multiple questions about how he advised Trump on the riot and what Trump said in response, as well as how other aides did so. Executive privilege is not absolute, but it is essential according to the Supreme Court in its U.S. versus Nixon decision that blew Watergate wide open. The High Court acknowledged that in that decision that a high level of confidentiality must be assured to ensure that chief executive gets frank and candid advice and counsel from his closest aides. That means by refusing to continue cooperating, Meadows is defending the constitutional right of future presidents and their aides to have honest, confidential debates about national policies and decisions. So why is the subpoena issued to Meadows illegal? Well, after all, every House Democrat plus 2 faux Republicans named Cheney and Kinzinger voted Tuesday to hold Meadows in contempt and refer his case to the Department of Justice for prosecution. He could face a year in jail and ruinous legal fees to defend himself. But the subpoena is illegal because the select panel is operating contrary to the authority it was given by the House when it was created. As Republican Study Committee, the RSC chairman Jim Banks explained during Tuesday's acrimonious debate on the Meadows contempt citation. Quote, according to the Select Committee Charter, H-Res 503, the Speaker shall appoint 13 members to the Select Committee, 5 of whom shall be appointed in consultation with the Minority Leader. But the committee has 0 members appointed in consultation with House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, and it doesn't even have 13 members. It has 9. According to the committee's charter, if Mr. Meadows had come in for a deposition, the minority must have been allowed to question Mr. Meadows for the same amount of time as the majority, except no members of the committee were named by the majority. This isn't nitpicking. The Supreme Court has found that the Select Committee must follow its own rules and to act with legal force. So we have a Select Committee as it exists legally and on paper. And then we have something completely different. I don't know what to call it, but it doesn't resemble the Select Committee that Democrats voted to pass on the House floor. It's just 9 members picked by Speaker Pelosi. And that's the key point. It is nothing more than Pelosi's illegal creation. It's an oppressive medieval star chamber using the threat of prison, media misinformation, and bankruptcy to force individuals to submit to and support Pelosi's hyper-partisan narrative about what happened on January 6th, which seems to be this seems to be unraveling a little bit in some ways, not all, but we shall see. Anyway, there's more why they think it's illegal in here. Let's see. Here are the questions Davis, Jordan, Comer, and Nunes posted to Pelosi in February, and which she has never answered in public and under oath. And then these 5 questions are here. But anyway, so that's why the subpoena to Mark Meadows could be considered illegal. We'll see how that goes to the courts. I don't know if you've seen this. We're just going to puke a little bit. It's an ad in the state of New Jersey. It's a lovely ad. We're getting into some COVID news here. It's a lovely ad. Anyone here use BitChute at all? Today, my the new video were not working. I don't know. I haven't used it for a while. Here's the best. It's a Christmas ad from the state of New Jersey. Best gift for a child.
Dear Santa, I don't want games. I don't want toys. Just get me the COVID vaccine.
This holiday season, there's no better gift than peace of mind. Get vaccinated today. Visit covid19.nj.gov.
Okay. I'm going to give you a moment to grab a towel and either wipe off your keyboards or your phones or whatever you're watching on, or your headset or whatever you just threw up on. Oh my God. Dear Santa, please bring me a COVID vaccine. Let's see, who did this? The New Jersey Health Department. I forgot this. The New Jersey Health Department. FTG. Moving on. So, we want to follow the science when it comes to the stupid 19 and the Fauci, the various renditions of Fauci juice. But now the Moderna chief, because his job, I'm pretty sure the chief of Moderna their job is to sell whatever the shit they make, right? Well, this Moderna chief has warned that the Delta and Omicron viruses could combine to create a monster virus. The solution will be more vaccines, of course. Here we go again. Paul Burton made the comments while addressing the House of Commons Technologies and Science Committee members on Tuesday. Burton claimed that it was possible for someone to contract both variants at the same time, which certainly gives an opportunity for the two viruses to what we call recombinate. Never heard of that. Meaningless. And then, I see. Oh, sorry. Burton claimed that it's possible for someone to contract both variants at the same time, which certainly gives an opportunity for two viruses to what we call recombinate, meaning they could begin to share genes and swap genes over. This certainly could lead to worse stupid 19 symptoms than usual, according to Burton, who added that it is really important to think about it given the rapid spread of Omicron variant. Anyway, his point is that we need to make sure we put more juice into more people. Apologize for falling asleep there. I only got 2 hours last night. House Democrats have rejected a GOP plan to replenish the oil reserves Biden dreamed. So if you noticed over, I think this week, maybe gas prices went down slightly. Well, that's because the president of the United States has removed 50 million barrels or something like that from the strategic oil reserves. Always a dumb move. Anyway, House Democrats unanimously rejected a Republican bill aimed at replenishing the country's strategic oil reserves after President Biden released the largest amount of oil from the stockpile in U.S. history. 220 House Democrats voted to block consideration of the Strategic Production Response Act on Tuesday afternoon, with one party member not voting. The bill, which Representatives Kathy McMorris Rogers and Steve Scalise and Fred Upton unveiled in December requires Biden Energy Secretary to develop a plan to increase U.S. gas production on federal land should the president release additional oil from the nation's reserve from non-emergency reasons. Right? Democrats' refusal to bolster domestic energy production comes just weeks after Biden released 50 million barrels of oil from the country's strategic petroleum reserve, marking the largest release in U.S. history. While those reserves are typically used for emergency reasons, then President George W. Bush loaned 30 million barrels from the stockpile in the wake of Hurricane Katrina. Biden tapped into the supply in an attempt to curtail rising gas prices amid intense political pressure. The average price of a gallon of gas had increased by more than $1 over the course of Biden's presidency. So this might bring him down a nickel. Anyway, so I got to tell you. Hi, Amy. How you doing? So Republicans are saying, hey, you need to replenish that, right? And we should use our own production to replenish that. And the Democrats are just saying, fuck off. We're not doing it. So, I don't know how many barrels the strategic reserve is supposed to have in it, but I got to imagine that taking 50 million barrels out of it doesn't help us for a rainy day. Okay, I'm just saying. Anyway, that article will be in the tabs. I'm going to move on because I'm going to have to take a nap here soon. London Breed has finally had it. I think she's finally had enough. She's the mayor of San Francisco. Interesting quotes here. Destroyed our city, Mayor London Breed calls bullshit on left-wing policies like defunding police and fight against rapid crime. She's had it. She's had it. Still on coffee, saving the whiskey for HB. Yeah, oh boy. I might actually have some whiskey today. I don't know. Democratic Mayor London Breed launched an emergency police intervention on Tuesday targeting San Francisco's rising crime and drug problem, particularly in the city's Tenderloin district, and called bullshit on left-wing policies such as defunding the police. Quote, "It is time that the reign of criminals who are destroying our city to come to an end. It comes to an end when we take the steps to be more aggressive with law enforcement, more aggressive with the changes in our policies, and less tolerant of all the bullshit that has destroyed our city. We are going to turn this around," Breed said at a press conference. You know what? Good for her. It may take a kick in the ass to get you going, but apparently this crime wave has kicked her in the ass. Good for her. You want to hear her say it herself?
And it's time that the reign of criminals who are destroying our city, it is time for it to come to an end. And it comes to an end when we take the steps to be more aggressive with law enforcement, more aggressive with the changes in our policies, and less tolerant of all the bullshit that has destroyed our city.
You go, girl.
Turn this around.
You go, girl.
This is a city that has a population of less than 1 million people with an over $12 billion budget. The residents of this city have been extremely generous in providing us with the resources we need to make a difference. And now, the priorities we need to make must be to protect them, must be to turn things around in their neighborhoods.
Right.
When you are in a room full of people, I would say probably anywhere between 90 and 95% of folks could raise their hand and say that either their car has been broken into.
Like my car was when I was in San Francisco.
In some capacity or another. That is not okay.
And nobody can do a damn thing. Okay, give her credit where credit is due. Give her credit where credit is due. She finally figured it out. I mean, FTG for fucking it up in the first place, but at least she's figuring it out, and she's had enough, and she's not going to take it anymore. Good on her. All right, let's see. But liberal California politicians promise to be tough on crime as thefts and shootings increase. Well, she's one of them. Here's just the highlights. California Democrats are toughening their stance on crime amid increasing violence and homicides, with many politicians pledging to invest in law enforcement. Oh, so much for defund the police. In Los Angeles, city council members have begun redirecting funds from their districts to pay for police overtime in a bid to quell the rising crime. Oakland Mayor Libby Schaaf sent a letter Tuesday to Governor Gavin Newsom requesting he funded the initiative by the California Highway Patrol to use license plate readers and technology that captures a vehicle's description to catch criminals fleeing Oakland with stolen merchandise, as well as use the state's retail theft unit to combat the city's rising larcenies. They're still not going to prosecute. It's your prosecutors that are the problem. I'm just saying. And San Francisco Mayor London Breed pledged to significantly boost the police presence, which we just showed you there. So, hey, what is it that what's his name? What does Umdoon say? Moron. Fucking morons. Well, they're finally starting to figure it out. You can read the rest on your own. And let's see. Also, but in New York, and I don't know anything about this woman, but the new mayor, Eric Adams, has chosen the first woman picked to lead the New York Police Department. Fan-fucking-tastic. I hope he did this for the right reasons and not just decide he's going to pick woman. But anyway, Nassau County Police Chief of Detectives, Keisha Sewell, will be the first woman and the third black person to lead the New York Police Department, Mayor-elect Eric Adams announced Tuesday. Now, real quick, Eric Adams is a former police officer, so at least I think he knows a little bit about what he's doing. So maybe he knows Sewell and trust her. It says Sewell is a proven crime fighter with the experience and an emotional intelligence to deliver both the safety New Yorkers need and the justice they deserve, Adams told the New York Post. Adams promised to appoint a woman to the role during his mayoral campaign because it's time to break the glass ceiling. All right. Nope, that's not the reason to do it. FTG, Eric Adams. Sorry, wrong reason. Okay, Prime Minister of Canada. And you know what? Maybe Keisha Sewell is absolutely deserving of this post. But when he said that he's going to do it just to break a glass ceiling, wrong answer. Pray for this woman and pray that she does well. Moving on. So the squad is upset with Joe Biden, and this is delicious, actually. Because Joe Biden, the administration, is not going to extend student loan relief, and progressives are just not happy. The squad especially. The Biden administration has announced that the extension on student loan payments is coming to an end. Loan payments are going to come due again starting February 1st, 2022. This is a pet issue for progressive Democrats, and they are not happy about the decision. Where is it? I want the comments from the squad. Well, Elizabeth Warren's not happy. Anyway, here's some bullet points from Jen Psaki. In the coming weeks, we'll release more details about our plans. We'll engage directly with federal student loan borrowers to ensure they have the resources they need and are in the appropriate repayment plan. Well, yeah, because of all those women's studies majors working at Starbucks and all the, they need to figure out how to budget their tips to pay off their student loans that they're probably going to have forever because someone told they had to have a degree to get ahead in life, and they chose women's studies. Anyway, they're going to make all these people pay back the loans. Well, some people are just not happy. Here is Elizabeth Warren.
We need these things to go together. Pause student loan repayments. And get student loan
pay your
debt
student loans.
Cancel.
Get to
President
work.
Could cancel $50,000 of student loan debt. Could do it tonight, President Biden. All you got to do, pull out a piece of paper and a pen and get it done.
Really? Then who gets paid back? Who gets their money back? Also, Cori Bush, who says Note to Democrats who blame progressives after losing an election, forcing millions to start paying student loans again and cutting off the child tax credit at the start of an election year is not a winning strategy. We're warning you now, don't point fingers in November. Aw. Let's see. Oh, this was back when he said, I'm not going to eliminate your student loan. Anyway, a bunch of squad members are pissed. And all I got to say, FTG, the squad. I don't care. I don't expect some electrician whose son maybe followed him into the business and didn't go to college and just kind of did an apprentice with dad. I don't expect him to pay for my kid's student loans. I don't expect him to pay for anyone else's student loans. My kids should pay for their student loans, or something like that, or figure it out. I'm sorry. College is a privilege. If you choose to go to college and you got heavy duty student loans because you went there and took a major where you can't get a job that'll help you pay off the student loans, maybe you shouldn't have taken the student loans. Maybe you shouldn't have gone to your first choice school that's $85,000 a year. Maybe you should have figured out how you're going to get through this and pay your student loans once you get out of college. Are you going to be able to get a job in a field that you're studying in? Oh my God. I don't, whatever. Nah. All right. Let's see here. Oh, GOP lawmakers moved to block Biden from making massive payments to illegals. This is very interesting. A group of Republican lawmakers have moved to block President Joe Biden's administration from potentially paying up to $450,000 in taxpayer money to some illegal aliens who were separated at the border under former President Trump's zero tolerance policy. Now, we remember talking about this a while back, right? So there are some Republican senators and other congressmen too. Yeah, there's a few who introduced legislation to the Congressional Review, or introduced the Congressional Review of Agency Legal Settlements Act. According to Lankford's office, the bill empowers Congress to ensure agencies don't skirt the formal rulemaking process of the Administration Procedures Act and misuse federal tax dollars for exorbitant financial awards in legal settlements. If the Biden administration is going to propose settlements as a way to pay people off, like the $450,000 settlements for illegal border crossers, then the agreement should be subject to congressional disapproval and nullification, just like the other ill-advised executive actions like vaccine mandates. Reports emerged in October that the Biden administration planned to pay members of families separated at the border as much as $450,000 apiece. Each family, $450,000. A short time after the reports, Biden said they were garbage, and that's not going to happen. But a day later, the White House Principal Deputy Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre said the president was perfectly comfortable with giving payouts to separated families, although she did not confirm an amount. Is that just another case where Biden says something and his aides just come and remind us what he really means? That happens an awful lot with Joe Biden. It's crazy, isn't it? Anyway, this whole thing is crazy, but so hopefully I hope the Republicans are successful in blocking that. All right. Okay, we're going to just go through headlines since it's time to close up. DeSantis freezes licenses for Florida daycare facilities paid by the Biden administration to house illegal immigrants. Oh boy, DeSantis is just he makes moves that just screw up the federal government so bad. And most are good. I don't know if they all are, but at least he's trying to get them to understand federalism. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis announced that no license will be issued or renewed with respect to any child care agency that provides services to illegal. I'm going to start that over because I completely botched it. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis announced that no license will be issued or renewed with respect to any child care agency that provides services to illegal aliens transported to Florida from outside the state. In a press conference on December 10th, DeSantis announced the new rules affecting daycare facilities around the state that would prohibit the issuance or renewal of any license to facilities that house unaccompanied alien minors for resettlement in Florida without a cooperative agreement between state and federal governments, because they're just trying to dump them there. DeSantis proposed this action in response to the Biden administration's practice of paying daycare providers $500 to $1,400 per day to care for illegal immigrant children who arrived unaccompanied to the United States. It's just amazing that they will throw money. Oh my God. $500 to $1,400 a day? They're clueless. They're truly clueless. Anyway, what they're saying is no licenses are going to be issued or renewed with respect to any child care agency that provides service to illegal aliens transported to Florida from outside the state. Good. And that's why the left hates DeSantis. In the tabs, and Biden is flying illegal aliens deported by Trump back to the U.S. All right, I'm not sure if this is true or not, but my God, if this is true, who voted for this man? President Joe Biden's administration is flying illegal aliens previously deported by former President Donald Trump's administration back to the United States. National Public Radio reported this, that two previously deported illegal aliens, Claudio Rojas of Argentina and Jean Montrevel of Haiti, have since been brought back to the U.S. after they claimed that the Immigration Customs Enforcement, ICE, agency retaliated against them for their open border advocacy. Let me repeat just something that's key. Claudio Rojas of Argentina and Jean Montrevel of Haiti were retaliated against for their open borders advocacy. Hello? They're our borders, not yours. Good God. Before his 2019 deportation, Rojas had lived as an illegal alien for 19 years, while Montrevel was deported in 2018 following more than a decade in the U.S. And now we're flying them back after they've been deported. And if we retaliated against them or not, they were here illegally and they were deported. Why would we fly them back? It probably explains it, but I don't know. You know what? That's it. You guys could just check out the tabs. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. Okay, let me see what's here. Oh, by the way, the Build Back Better, it says Biden's been saying, it's not going to cost anything. It's $5 trillion. $5 trillion. He was saying it costs $0. It's going to cost about $5 trillion over 10 years. And that's not even this is from an outlet that doesn't really, I don't know. The article's here. Let's see. Oh, but Nancy Pelosi, Joe Biden is just perfect. Our country could not be better served. God. Whatever. Joe Biden greeted with "Let's Go Brandon" chants while touring Kentucky tornado damage. Now that, can't say I'm a fan of that, but it is somewhat humorous. Here, let's see if they have video.
Go Brandon!
Okay.
Go Brandon!
Okay, so one person said, "Let's go, Brandon." Whatever. I'm not. Yeah, he's there to look. Whatever you think of any given president, if they come because they're there to tour disaster relief and are making, whether they are, if they're there to help comfort people or help let them know that the federal government is, ready to step up, maybe save that for the second day, not when he first gets there. Apple is banning privacy-busting child porn CSAM scanner for iPhone. No one but the dregs of humanity is in favor of child porn, but Apple has apparently abandoned its plan to build CSAM scanning software into its mobile operating systems for iPhone and iPad. While nobody less awful than Jeffrey Epstein wants to protect predators, more than a few are wondering what has happened to the world's most valuable company's commitment to user privacy. I wrote back in August when the Cupertino tech giant announced its privacy-busting feature, but a new report indicates that Apple has listened to customer pushback. Apple Insider reported on Wednesday that the company has, in the last few days, removed all signs of its CSAM initiative from the child safety webpage on its website. That's a good indication that the operating system level photo scanning will not be coming to a future update of iOS 15. This is all technical gobbledygook. So they're getting rid of, on the danger side, another part of child safety would scan the popular Photos app known for child sexual abuse material. The problem wasn't with Apple's intentions, which certainly seemed noble, or with the privacy protections built into the CSAM scanner. The problem was the execution, which could easily be abused by governments for domestic spying on political opponents. So that's why they're not using it. So anyway, you can read more on that. Other articles up. Oh, we'll go to this one last because this is the one I'll actually get into. Family court psychologist sued in New York for reprogramming children and labeling mom a parental alienator. So it's a story about Catherine Kasanoff, who's an attorney. Her long career spanned from the U.S. Attorney's Office in New York to the governor's office, but she never experienced injustice until she experienced family court in Westchester County, New York. Kasanoff's nightmare began when her children disclosed abuse from their father. Child Protective Services was so concerned about the allegation that they instructed Kasanoff to either get a protective order against her husband or CPS would remove the children from the house and put them into foster care. The officer who took the child's testimony at school believed the child and testified in court that she was consistent and believable when telling officials that her father kicked her sister and hit her mother so hard she had to seek hospitalization. The officer also witnessed a bruise on the child's arm where she said her father had grabbed her hard. Court transcripts now show Officer Lisa Pompiello answering questions about that discourse. So they talked to her for several long. She didn't have to sit and try to recall. She was very open. Like I said earlier, it was truly like a floodgate. She just wanted to give me the information and I saw a relief in her because at first she was shaking and she was fidgeting, blah, blah, blah. The officer then confirmed that CPS told Kasanoff to seek a protective order. So basically what's happening here, what do they do here? So they specifically told her she did not go with them to family court in New Rochelle. They were going to seek taking the children from them. They were going to get an order to take the children. They were going to get the order of protection and after taking the children from her. So they were to get a protective order against her. Kasanoff did as she is instructed, and her husband, a high-powered attorney, then filed for divorce using all his connections and had her evicted from the house. After the court got a hold of the case, the judge vacated the protective order that Kasanoff was granted and stripped Kasanoff of her custody, giving the children back to their father. Child Protective Services told Kasanoff that there was nothing they could do now that the court was making decisions and their recommendations were not being followed. Kasanoff was eventually put on a supervised visitation, though there were never allegations accusing her of abusing the kids, for which she has to pay, and has been made homeless by her husband's court maneuvers. So currently she's not allowed in her own apartment because it's too close to her husband's taste, and he has included it in a recent protective order against her. She has been sleeping on a friend's couches and living out of her car. So how did this happen? It began with the court-appointed psychologist, Mark Abrams, who began accusing her of parental alienation and brainwashing. Adams has been accused of sexual misconduct by patients and has been recently removed from the court's mental health professionals panel as a result of the complaints against him. One former patient, speaking on condition of anonymity, told PJ Media that Abrams asked him to repeatedly give him details of his sex life during a custody evaluation, peppering him with inappropriate inquiries and graphic details. Another patient reported that Abrams asked her to lie on top of him during her custody evaluation. A third patient described Abrams showing her a risque photo of herself that her ex-husband had given him and said Abrams asked her to describe sexual acts she performed on her new boyfriend. And then Abrams also has posted many sexually inappropriate and misogynistic messages on Facebook, ranting about how much he hates Republican whores and NRA prostitutes. PJ Media reached out to Dr. Abrams, but he refused to respond to multiple email inquiries. So anyway, she's getting screwed in this matter, and it's not good. You can read the rest. I'll skip these, but there's a new Florida bill requiring a national anthem before games for pro teams. I think this is as much as I like what goes on in Florida, I think this is ridiculous. Compelled speech is not free speech, and I don't like it. Even though I want the national anthem played before games, I think their impetus was that some teams were not doing it because to avoid kneeling issues. But I don't like the bill. I don't like this kind of stuff. And it's stupid. It's stupid grandstanding. But the NFL has caved to Communist China as it releases a map falsely claiming that Taiwan belongs to China. So they're going in the footstep of the NBA. Who knows why? But this is it right here. And who knows? But it also, if you look at this map, Canada is also part of China. If you look at the two red spots there. Okay, I'm just kidding. But yeah, making Taiwan part of China.
China is asshole.
Let's see. Oh, yeah, we'll not do that one now. Maybe we'll do that one tomorrow. Let's finish up. There's also an article on Elon Musk in here, but let's finish up with this one because this one's fascinating. You may or may not have heard of this, but at the University of Pennsylvania, there was a young man who was on the swim team for 3 years, and between his third and fourth year of eligibility, he decided to transition to be a woman. And now he's breaking all kinds of swimming records at the University of Pennsylvania. But some Penn students are disturbed by this, that a transgender swimmer is dominating female swim team, but they fear retaliation from leftist classmates. Many students at the University of Pennsylvania are not happy that a male peer is permitted to dominate the female swim team, but many fear retaliation if they express their opinions on the matter. Leah Thomas, a biological male who used to go by Will but now claims transgender identity, is competing on the University of Pennsylvania's women's swim team. Throughout the current season, Thomas has shattered multiple NCAA and University of Pennsylvania's female swim records. Shut up, computer. Sometimes winning races by margins as high as 38 seconds. Anonymous female teammates have told sports outlets they feel discouraged and overshadowed by Thomas. In exclusive interviews with several University of Pennsylvania students, all of whom requested anonymity for fear of various repercussions, the Daily Wire learned there exists tremendous pressure for dissenting students to mask their opinions about Thomas competing against women. One finance student told the Daily Wire that the situation is wrong for one reason. Thomas is not a woman. He is male. I got to be careful with these. It's simple rationale and shouldn't need to be further explained. She fears reprisal from her classmates. How about from the university? Remember, gosh, universities don't like it when you buck this trend either. And they can say they're winning swim meets now. This is insanity. Just straight insanity. Here's what it looked like. Here's what it looked like when UPenn trans swimmer destroyed female competition. Is this a video of one of the meets? Here's maybe. Let's see here. We'll finish with this. Oh, here it is. Just to show you how absurd this is. Here is swimmer. I don't know. I can't. I'm at a loss for words, guys. I can't do it. I can't do it. Ladies and gentlemen, I gotta call it a day. I'm so tired and I'm floundering. So we're gonna call it a day. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Wish your old fan, Becca Farley, a happy 40th. Is it her birthday today? How do you know that, Richo? You scared her away from my show, by the way. Hopefully, maybe you guys are getting along these days. I don't know. But anyway, I will do that. Thank you for telling me that. All right, guys, I got to call it a day. Thank you all for being here today. I don't know if anyone is even on Spaces. If you are, God bless you, because I have ignored you completely. And I apologize for that. Oh, it looks like the space went away. That's weird. Okay. Well, anyway, I hope you have a wonderful day. I'm going to go take a nap. Thank you, sponsors Maddie and Paul Farrell. I appreciate you sponsoring the show, and everyone in the chat. Do me a favor, hit the like button before you go. And if you like what we do, share the stream before, during, and after the show. And if you'd be so kind to, if you're watching a replay, put a comment in the comment section so I know you were here and I can acknowledge you. And if you'd like to sponsor the program, you know how to do it. It tells you down in the description down below. But before I fall asleep again, I've got to go. Thanks for being here again. Greatly appreciate you. I'll be here tomorrow, hopefully bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Well, maybe not bushy-tailed because I don't have a tail. But anyway, y'all have a lovely day. I got to go. My name's PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye.
Hey, this is PDawgKnight, and thanks for watching today on the PDawgKnight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cashapp, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here.